If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
And Collier Motors presents the Coach Jeff Bell Show this morning here on Daybreak Live, and kind of a mixed bag last weekend, Coach.
Yeah, we went up in class and played Thompson over the weekend, and you know they're a really good 7A school. We played really well the first game, got great pitching from Tyler Thompson, and won that game 6-2. Then, you know, took a break, got the field ready again, came back and played game 2 of that, and played really inconsistently on defense.
You can go either way. You're coming off a nice game opener, and then come back and kind of flat the second one.
That's, you know, you would think that you would sort of ride that momentum into game 2. I think teams that play more doubleheaders are probably have a tendency to be able to handle that better than we did. It's something that we've kind of talked about moving into in the future, is playing more doubleheaders. As our pitching staff grows, it's certainly something that we're gonna try to do, because you know when you get in the playoffs, that first night, you know you're gonna play 2 the first day, so we're gonna have to learn how to finish the back end of a doubleheader.
Well, you know, Wetumpka, they've got a rich baseball tradition, and of course Thompson does as well. So you were in a pretty good grouping of teams there.
Yes. Well, we are gonna. It's something that we want to do, is consistently play tough competition, because that's who you're gonna see. You know, if to progress through the playoffs, if you know, like we want to, you're gonna have to be. You're going to have to be battle tested. You're going to have to see tough pitching. You're going to have to make yourself get out tough hitters. So we're beginning to get, I think, more comfortable with the step up into the schedule.
No area games played as of yet. That's coming up a little bit later. Assess this Aggie baseball team through the first 10 games or so of the season.
Kind of up and down. We show flashes of being really, really good. But then at times we show flashes of just being really inconsistent. And it's gradually getting better. The thing is, I can't put my finger on why. We've got so many returning starters that it's... You know, we're dealing with several injuries now. I know it's easy to point the finger there, but still there's not a reason why we're not playing better, or at least on a more consistent level. So I think we're still a pretty good team, and we're going to keep pushing and keep working and keep fighting to try to get better. I think the schedule has a lot to do with it. There are no easy wins. And on a day, if the pitching doesn't match up, we're going to have to score runs to keep up. So I think that's some of it. The talent is there. There's talent on the field. We need to get more consistent.
Well, game 1 pitching last Saturday was very strong.
It's very good. And he's been really, really stable for us. We know when Tyler gets the ball, we're in the game, and he's going to speed the game along. He's going to throw strikes. The games we've struggled with this year, that's where it started. It started on the mound, and it started with falling behind hitters, and then it just sort of slows the pace of the game down. And we stress, hey, let's go get it back and throw it again, throw it over the plate, and make the guys hit. Because we generally play good defense. So if we're walking batters or hitting batters or getting behind batters, it takes one of our strengths out of the game. So we're working hard in the bullpen of forcing contact earlier, throwing strikes earlier in the counts.
Able to string together some key hits in game 1?
Yeah, who got the game? Peyton Natale. He drove in the winning run, and that was big. It was kind of a back and forth game. I think they took a 1-0 lead, and we came back and answered. It was 2-2 for really the majority of the game. And then I think it's bottom of the sixth, we get a couple runners on, and that's the one thing that we've been missing this year is a big hit in a big situation. And Peyton Natale came up for us, and he got that hit. Zach Dew got a hit all in that one inning. You know, we have Jordan Ridgway and Zach Dew and Peyton Natale. You know, some of the names that I mentioned to a lot of people that we're waiting for to break out. I think that's, you know, a sign of things to come.
You got to, in a close game like that, you got to get those key hits at key points in the baseball game, especially when pitching on both staffs are strong. And game two, some 30 minutes later, you know, the wheels kind of come off the wagon, and you just kind of opposite of game one.
Yeah, it's exactly the opposite of game one. I think we only had 3 hits. And it was not, we didn't face one of their best guys. It was, you know, that's one of the things where, you know, you tell them, hey, keep working, because you're facing some really good pitching. Well, Thompson, we actually benefited from the way the schedule turned out, where they had played, I think, 4 games in 2 days before they played us. So we were seeing some of their guys that are a little farther down the line. And, you know, when you're watching him warm up before the game, you're thinking, finally,
your chops.
we get somebody that we should really string together a lot of hits. And we just didn't. We're getting pitches to hit, just missing them, fouling them off, and getting ourselves behind in the count. And, you know, they're just, and now we did hit some balls hard, but they didn't fall.
Ben Russell, what, today?
Yes, sir.
And that's here in Sylacauga. And you played Ben Russell a week or so ago.
That's right. We didn't play really a bad game against them. They threw, the guy that pitched threw a really good game against us.
He's one of the top pitchers around, too.
He's one of the best ones I've seen. And, you know, aside from that, I think we match up really well with them. And they've strung together a lot of big wins. Like they beat Auburn the other day. And that's what we as a coaching staff, when we talk after a game or after a practice, we're still pretty excited about the team, because as many wins as Ben Russell's rattled off, and if to have beaten a 7A school, and for us to have had a win against a 7A school, you know, when it's easy to think that we're struggling a little bit because we're inconsistent, we're still, I think talent-wise, we're still just as good as all these people. So we're looking forward to tonight and getting back out on the field and getting, you know, seeing a different team again, another good team, but we're starting to feel pretty good.
And finally some good weather, too, to play in.
Yeah, that always helps.
The JV team, they play prior to the varsity game. Do you get to watch them and keep up with any of that at all?
I watch a majority of their games. You know, then we've got so many. We've got a lot of young guys that move up and down based on what our pitching looks like. We may send a JV position player up to pitch a varsity game, or a varsity pitcher down to play a JV game. You know, just to get, like, if we had a shortstop that we see a lot of potential in, and he's good enough to probably play with our varsity, well, I don't plan on benching Dew anytime soon, so you send them down and let them get some experience. Even though, you know, you don't want them to waste a year, you know, sitting on a bench. They need to be on the field, and they need to get playing time. So I watch them pretty closely to see.
Do you see potential in some of these guys?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, we've got a lot of potential on the mound. I mean, a ton of potential on the mound. But again, it's almost like the theme of the day. We're working on making everything more consistent. Just pure talent, it's there now, and we've got a couple of guys that we do count on. That, I mean, they throw it over the plate every time out there. You know, Jake Hammonds and Brantley Brasher. That if you were to look at a team picture, you wouldn't pick those two out as the ones that have been our go-to guys on the mound for the JV. But boy, they're steady as it goes, and they're going to get tested a lot next week. They've got their JV tournament next week, and there's a lot of big names in that.
Speaking of next week, the Aggie varsity team's got some open dates.
We do. We've usually reserved this week, the week of spring break, to go to Alex City to play in the Lake Martin Classic. Well, they're not getting to do that this year. So hopefully it's going to be a time for us to fill in some of these makeups from some of the rainouts that we've had. We've got one hopefully scheduled with Wetumpka. We've got a date with Chelsea that we can make up. I've talked with a couple other schools about filling some of that time.
They need to be playing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We come back from that, we start to open up area play. So, there's two different ways of looking at it. We could, and because we are banged up, it would be a good week to go back to basics and focus on the things that I think we do the best and go back to almost as a preseason type practice schedule so that I think we're tuned up. But no, I would rather be competing against somebody else and playing games absolutely.
All right, the Aggies and Ben Russell JV and varsity games later on today over Walton Cruz Field. And Coach Bell, we look forward to seeing you again next week, and have a good spring break, sir.
Hey, thank you. See you soon.
More Daybreak brought to you by Collier Motors, the Jeff Bell Show. We'll continue with more after this.